Welcome to the Life's Best Medicine podcast, where we are finding hope and healing one episode at a time. No appointment needed, no rubber gloves, and no coping. Just a healthy dose of life lessons to help equip you for this wild journey we call life. Hey everyone, we made it to October. We're almost done with this year again, believe it or not. And just wanted to give a shout out to Simply Snackin'. Thank you for your support this year. Thank you for bringing these stories to people, and for having a great product, a product that I can believe in, that I can recommend, and that I enjoy. Have to hide from my kids so they don't eat them all. So I have a special stash in the garage, but don't tell my kids. But they'd listen to the podcast, so I might be in trouble now. But anyway, Simply Snackin', thank you for all you do. And these stories are life-changing, really. These next two episodes are so impactful, and I think it's really can be life-changing and life-saving for people. So a lot of us have given up hope. And so Simply Snackin', thank you for making this possible. And everyone, please enjoy this episode. And I think I would have a Kleenex or two around for the next couple episodes. That's just my recommendation as a doctor. It's not medical advice, but I recommend it. So, but thank you for listening. This is really, really powerful stuff. And this is why I did the podcast. Thank you for listening. Hello, and welcome back to the Life's Best Medicine podcast. I brought a world expert in today, Bob McCollum. This guy's he's the vet of the year, right? And man, this is a great patient of mine. We've been together for a while. And then when I changed practices, he's like, I don't know if I should come over or not. So he joined me over here. And this guy has such a joy and such a peace. And yeah, I want him to share his life story with you and just some things that matter in life. He's been around only about 85 years or so, right, Bob?
July 16th, 85. Yep.
85 years. And this guy's got a twinkle in his eyes, and this guy is working 7 days a week. He's out doing crazy stuff. And so he's not slowing down in retirement. And so Bob, tell people in a nutshell, give them your life story in a way of your military experience and what you're doing now and what brought you to do what you're doing now and what really matters.
Well, I actually joined the military just before my senior year in high school. Back in the 50s, all the young men like me had an 8-year military obligation. So in August of 1953, before I went into my senior year, I joined the Navy Reserves. So when I graduated from high school, I just volunteered for active duty, and they brought me on active duty into the Navy. That was in 1954. In 1955, at the tail end of the Korean War, I served as a young seaman on a heavy cruiser, the USS Baltimore. 1961, I decided to volunteer for submarines, and I graduated from submarine school in June of 1961. And I originally was assigned to a diesel submarine in New London, Connecticut. And this was referred to as a school boat. What we would do, we would take the submarine school students out into Long Island Sound and do 16 dives a day with them just to show them how a submarine operates. I spent a couple of years on the diesel submarines, and then I graduated into the nuclear submarine force. So I ended up serving. I made 15 deterrent patrols back in the 60s and 70s on 3 different nuclear submarines. I made 6 patrols on the John Marshall SSBN 611, 4 patrols on the Sam Houston SSBN 609, 5 patrols on the USS Casimir Pulaski SSBN 633. Back in 1973, I was a chief torpedoman, and the Navy came out with a new rating called Navy Counselor. I thought it looked good. I applied, I got selected. So I was one of the first selectees into the Navy Counselor rating. So I became a Navy Counselor, and I left the nuclear submarine force and went to recruiting duty. I started out my recruiting career in the Plymouth, Massachusetts recruiting station in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And at that time, I worked for Navy Recruiting District Boston. And they had 43 recruiting stations under them. They called me into headquarters one day and said, Chief McCollum, we're sending you down to Hyannis to be the Navy recruiter for Cape Cod and the islands. Yes, sir. I headed down to Hyannis. I got down there, and production-wise, Hyannis was at the bottom of the list, 43 out of the 43 stations. In 1 year, I brought Hyannis up to be the #1 producing station in the district. We had a banquet one night, and the captain gets up there and he says, well, Chief McCollum brought his station from last to the exalted position of #1. I'm sending him over to Germany to be one of our 2 Navy recruiters for Europe. So in 1975, I headed over to Germany. Excuse, someone's ringing my door.
Yeah, I can pause it. You want to pause it here for a second?
No, I don't answer the door.
All right.
So 75, I headed over Germany. At the time, my oldest son, Scott, he just graduated from Bourne High School in Cape Cod. He said, well, Dad, I'm not going to go with you. I'm going to go live with Aunt Jackie in Rockland. I want to go to Boston State College and pursue my baseball career. I said, okay, so I left him behind. He lasted 6 months back in Boston. He finally called me one day and said, Dad, I can't take it back here any longer. Can I come to Germany? I said, sure. So he jumps in a plane, he comes to Germany, and he gets over there, he goes to work for the Army commissary over there. Finally, one day he comes up to me and says, Dad, what can the Navy do for someone like me? I said, come on down to the office. I'm going to show you videos of all of our jobs. So I bring him down to the office, showed him every video I had. And he said, Dad, I want to be an AW. Well, an AW in the Navy is an aviation anti-submarine warfare operator. So in 1978, I bring Scott into the Navy as an airman recruit, guarantee of going to AW school. He comes in the Navy in 78, goes to AW school, becomes an AW, serves as an enlisted crew member on S-3A Vikings, makes 4 different cruises and 4 different aircraft carriers with his squadron. And then in 1986, he works his way up, gets a degree. I have to go down to Orlando, Florida, and I saw him become a commissioned ensign. Now, at that time, he gets picked up. There's a joint interagency task force south down in Key West, Florida. They chased the dope runners around. He gets picked up by them as an intelligence officer. This is 1986. 20 years after I put him in the Navy, I have to go to Mayport, Florida. He's on the admiral staff there, and I saw him retire as a lieutenant commander. Now, he was so good at his job in Key West, they got a hold of him and said, hey, Scott, we'd like you to come to work for us as a civilian. He said, I will do that if you want to bring me in as a GS-13 Step 8. So they did. They bring him in as a 13 Step 8. He ends up spending 20 years with them, and he retires in February at the start of the pandemic year as the GS-15 Step 10 Director of Logistics for that agency. So Scott is now, like me, retired with 40 years of government service, and he has a beautiful home down in Mount Dora, Florida, where he's living the dream of his retired life. So when I completed my 26 years in the Navy, that was highlighted by 14 years in submarines and 6 years as a Navy recruiter, I followed that up with my next career, and I spent the next 24 years of my life as the director in 5 of our national cemeteries all over the country. And a very special one was in 1991, I was stationed over at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific in Honolulu, and we had the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And we brought in all the Pearl Harbor survivors. the senior president, Bush, came in, was our guest speaker for that affair, and that was just a great time. So after, well, I was stationed up at the Fort Snelling National Cemetery up in Minneapolis. I was sitting up there for 9.5 years, and a Memorial Service Network director job opened up in Denver. I was a GS-14, so I was kind of obligated to apply for that position. I did. I applied. They selected me. They sent me down to Denver to take over 25 national cemeteries spread over 10 states. And Veterans Day weekend, 2005, my daughter and her husband from Santee came to visit us to help us get unpacked. And the weekend they're there, my beautiful wife of over 47 years, Saturday morning, has an unexpected heart attack in the living room. The paramedics came in, did their thing, got her heart going again, took her to a local hospital, put her on the machine, the tube down the throat. And Sunday, my daughter says, you know what, Dad? She would not want this. Let's tell them to let her go. I said, okay. So we told the nurse, pull the plug in that machine. We let her go. And the next thing my daughter said to me Sunday morning, she says, you know what, Dad? I'm not leaving Colorado without you. I said, you know what, honey? It must be time to retire. I picked up the phone and called VA personnel Monday morning and said, process me for retirement immediately. They said, you just got here. I said, I'm all done. So my daughter helped me close out the beautiful house I just bought. We came to San Diego a little over 15 years ago, and that's where I have been for the last 15 years. And Dr. Lenskis, you have known me for pretty much all of that time. So during this 15 years of my retirement, I basically do volunteer work for 10 of those years. I started as a volunteer with the retired senior volunteer patrol of the San Diego Police. I went to their little academy and I spent a couple of years volunteering with the RSVP. Then I get into volunteering up the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, which I've been doing since 2013. And I basically go up to the memorial 7 days a week to maintain it, take care of it, keep it clean. I let people engage me in conversation if they want to talk about the memorial or talk about me or hear some of my stories, of which I have many. So every day when I'm fortunate enough to wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is, well, this is the first day of the rest of my life. What exciting things are going to happen for me today? What interesting or fascinating person might decide to engage me in conversation today, and I can tell them some stories. So Dr. Lenskis, that's kind of in a nutshell what I've gone through in the last many years.
You forgot your Veteran of the Year.
Oh, well, during the pandemic year, I was up there 6 days a week, and the Mount Soledad Veterans Association, the Mount Soledad Memorial Association, decided to select me, Bob McCollum, also known as Bottom Gun, as the 2020 Veteran of the Year. And the reason I'm known as Bottom Gun is back in the 60s and 70s when I made those 15 patrols on those 3 different nuclear submarines. I was a launcher technician. I was the chief torpedoman by rating, but I was a launcher technician. I maintained the launching system and kept it ready to fire one of those 16 missiles if we were ever so ordered. Thank God we were never ordered to do that. That's why I'm known as Bottom Gun. And a lot of people look at me as being the opposite of Tom Cruise, who is known as Top Gun.
But you just have this spirit. You just keep going. You keep doing stuff, and you don't slow down. You don't. A lot of people just retire and they kick up their feet and they go, "Okay, I'm done. I've done it. I've served my country."
I'm enjoying life too much. I love the memorial. We have 18 walls. All of it. We have over 5,300 of our nation's heroes up there. We have 6 presidents on the walls. Ford, Reagan, Truman, Eisenhower, Teddy Roosevelt, Ulysses S. Grant, 25 Medal of Honor recipients are on the walls. Brigadier General Jimmy Stewart is up there. General Patton is up there. The last survivor, Marcus Luttrell, is up there. The most highly decorated soldier in World War II, Audie Murphy, is up there. And some older people might have seen the movie made back in 1955 called To Hell and Back. Audie Murphy played himself in that movie. We also have the first and only person made an honorary veteran by an act of Congress. Bob Hope is up there. We have the unbroken guy, Louis Zamperini, is up there. Vice Admiral Stockdale is up there. And of course, even I am up there. And my two veteran sons, Scott, the retired lieutenant commander, and my youngest son, Timothy. We're all up there too.
Wow, that's pretty
No,
remarkable.
it's just a great place to hang around.
Yeah, and you love it, and it's in your blood, it's in your veins. And so what, being a military guy, and when you went into the military, did you think this is my life, this is what I'm going to do, or you just kind of kept signing back on?
No, I very briefly got out for a while after the Korean War. I bailed out for a while, but I ended up going back in, reactivating myself in 61, and that's when I started my submarine service that I did for the next 14 years of my life. But also another interesting note, when I went to shore duty from the submarines, I went to the submarine base in New London, Connecticut, and I was going to be teaching my rating, which I was a launch technician, chief torpedoman. But everybody has to go through instructor training school before they can be put out in the field and start teaching other people their rating. So when I through instructor training school, at the end of the training, the head instructor came up to me and said, "Bob, would you be interested in staying here at instructor training school, teaching here?" I said, "Sounds good to me." So I ended up spending the next 3 years of my life as an instructor at instructor training school at the sub base in New London, Connecticut.
Yeah, you've done it all, man. You've been around.
I've been
lived
around.
life.
I can't think. And like I said, Dr. Lenskis, if the good Lord decided to recall me tomorrow, I would slide into heaven and say, "Thank you, Lord. It's been a hell of a ride."
Yeah, I think that's that's a big thing. I saw another general talking about that, and he said, I just, people think they're going to go to heaven and look all clean and nice. He said, I want to be beat up and bloody and have my sword bent, and and hear those words, "Well done, good and faithful servant," right? That you gave it all. You didn't come in pretty,
Yeah.
and you have scars, and you went through life.
Yeah, I think I paid my dues. But like I say, I love life right now. I love what I do. I love going up to that Veterans Memorial every day. In fact, we have a big ceremony coming up Sunday, the 24th, where we're going to have the injured warriors from Orange County are going to be coming down to the Veterans Memorial to do a service with us. And there's going to be 200 motorcycles coming down the I-5 heading for the Veterans Memorial up at Mount Soledad. And I will have the honor, I have been asked by the host of that ceremony, if I would please lead this group in the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of the ceremony. And I did this the last time they came down, so I'm going to do it again. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Bob, all that you've been through in life, I mean, how do you look at life different now, or the military different now than you did 50 years ago or 40 years ago?
Well, when I was riding submarines, they didn't have women on submarines. They have women on submarines now. It's really kind of a different lifestyle going on right now. I used to go out and go on patrol. We submerged the ship. We stayed down. We were underwater for 2 months without coming up.
Yeah, how was that? How was that for you mentally? Like, just being down there, do you just kind of
how much better can it get than spending 2 months underwater with 124 other guys?
Yeah,
it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point you have to miss your family and wife, and
we used to. they used to allow us to get what we called family grams. We would get up to periscope depth and send out our streaming wire and take family grams in, and someone would wake you up and say, hey, here's a family gram, and your wife would be allowed to send you a family gram composed of no more than 15 words.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there you go.
We would get like 2 or 3 of them in the course of the 2 months. That's how we communicated with our family.
So did you guys mess around on the submarine? My cousin was on a boomer and a nuclear sub, and he said that what they would do is they'd have the new guys on there, and then when they were going to get their mail, they would have them get in a wetsuit, and they say, we have to put you on a rope, and you got to go up there and get the mail and bring it back down. And the guy would be stressed out.
Yeah, we did a lot of games. He'd
be stressed out, and they would laugh and go, no, we're not going to do it. Of course you would die.
If we had occasion to be out on patrol and go across the Arctic Circle, we had a ceremony where you became a blue nose. And that was kind of a fun night where we kind of raised hell down there and just had a good time. But being underwater for 2 months, the only thing limiting us really was how much food we could carry. And but I can tell you, we ate pretty well down there. No problems there.
What about coming up? Was that a problem when I've had friends on submarines, they said when they got back to reality and were out walking around, they felt really weird not being enclosed in. Was that ever weird for you?
No, I felt good. I felt good when we came up. I mean, we looked like we just got out of jail. We weren't tanned up, and we were all pretty white looking after being underwater for 2 months. But no, I never had any problems coming back up.
And there's that smell of the oxygen, right? The oxygen it's a different smell on there when you get off there.
Yeah. But riding a nuclear fleet ballistic missile submarines was really quite an experience. And of course, being a chief petty officer, I was assigned to the chief's quarters. There was about 15 of us living in the chief's quarters. But before we went out on patrol, we would bring 60 movies with us so we could watch a movie every night. And we just went out and played a lot of games out there with the Russians, and just had good times. What else can I say? I was actually a chief torpedoman, but I didn't work in the torpedo room. Like I said, I worked in the missile compartment. My battle stations, I was at the launcher control panel, ready to launch one of them missiles if we were so ordered. And my watch station, I stood the chief of the watch. I was up in the ballast control panel, up in the control room. So when the officer of the deck wanted to submerge the ship, he would say, chief of the watch, take her down.
That's good stuff. So how did you deal? What did you learn? What are some life lessons you learned in the Navy or in life, growing up, or some important things that have stuck with you as you aged?
Well, I've always been a big believer of honor, integrity, professionalism, respect, and treat everybody the way they want to be treated. And I have a little saying, I dream as if you'll live forever, and I live as if you'll die today. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's it. A lot of people just lose focus of that. That's a great honor, integrity, all these things that are so important.
Yeah,
in life, those life lessons that you pick up and you see it modeled in front of you with officers and people that you work with, and I think you show that respect by working at the memorial of all these people who've given up their lives, these heroes that have defended the country. And
60% of the veterans on the plaques up the memorial are still alive. This is the only veterans memorial in the country where both living and deceased veterans are honored with these plaques with their photos and a little bit on their military service. Only one like it in the country.
Wow.
And it's just enjoyable engaging in conversation with the different visitors from different parts of the country. Whenever my fellow Bostonians come up, I have great pleasure in bringing them down to what I call my wall, which is wall BB, where both my 2 sons and I are there. Ulysses S. Grant is there, Teddy Roosevelt is there, and the greatest hitter who ever played the game is there. Ted Williams, the Boston Red Sox. And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
a lot of people don't know that Ted was born right up in North Park.
Yeah,
Ted played for the Padres way back at the end of the 39s.
we have Ted Williams Parkway here,
That's right. That's right.
And so how did you deal when your wife passed away? How was that emotionally?
You
How
know,
did you
it was tough. My daughter was there with me. And when I lost my wife, and when she said, Dad, I'm not leaving Colorado without you, I said, well, honey, must be time to retire. And that's why I picked up the phone. I called VA and says, process me for retirement immediately. They said, you just got here. I said, I'm all done. So it was fortunate to have my daughter there with me.
It was probably good to get out of the environment that you were in and all that too, right?
You know, life had to move on, and life moved on. She helped me close out the house I just bought. I had two houses on the market at the same time, my home in Minneapolis, my home in Denver. But I come out and I stayed with my daughter for the first 3 months I was out here while I went around trying to find a place to live. And I finally found the place I'm living in right now that I've been in for the last 15 years. Beautiful little complex in Mission Valley, California. And I just love it here. And the people here love me. And life is beautiful. What more can I say?
Yeah, you're always happy and upbeat and,
I love to surround myself with positive people. I try to never have a bad day. I don't like negativity. And just enjoy life, but treat people the way they deserve and want to be treated.
Yeah, I know you always live your life that way, and serving others, and being a servant. What you didn't mention is you're the first one there cleaning all this stuff and sweeping.
Yeah, I'm the only one who maintains the memorial.
You maintain the entire thing.
I maintain the entire thing. When I get up there in the morning, I have to go around with my little tool and pick up all the trash and cigarette butts and stuff other people leave laying around. Then I have to go and sweep all the bark off our walkways back into the bushes where it's kept. The birds kick it out on the walkways at night, and I have to get up there in the morning and sweep all the walkways. And then I have 18 walls that I have to go and clean, get them clean and shiny again, because people at night sit on the walls, walk on the walls, lay in the walls, do everything out on the walls. So it really requires a daily attendance. And that's why I have to go up there 7 days a week just to keep it looking good. But people appreciate it when they see it. They say, gosh, this site is really beautiful. And it's probably the greatest view, 360-degree view of San Diego. And people just love it.
Yeah, and there's history. They wanted to take that memorial down too for a long time, right?
Well, the cross issue, of course, that white cross was constructed back in 1954 to honor the Korean War veterans. And this is the cross that a couple of people tried for over 25 years to have removed because the memorial was sitting on government property. Can't have a cross on government property, right? So this issue went in and out of the court system for over 25 years. Mm-hmm. And finally, we won the case. The Mount Soledad Memorial Association ended up paying the government almost $1.4 million for the land under the memorial. And that was the end of the cross issue. And the person who started it is no longer with us. So wherever he is, good luck to him.
Yeah, that's something though. But when everyone came together and fought it and said, "Hey, we're gonna save this thing," and you believed in it, now you're there maintaining it and keeping it nice for everyone else to see from all around the world. Really, that
I mean, it's an honor for me. It's an honor for me just to go up to that veteran memorial every day. I can't think of a better place to be to spend my time every morning. I'm up there 2.5 to 3 hours every day taking care of that memorial. But I love engaging in conversation with visitors who decide to stop and want to talk to me. So I can put on my docent's hat and entertain them for a while and tell them a lot of stories and try to make it a nice experience for them visiting our memorial.
Yeah, and just seeing all those names and all the people who've
Oh,
sacrificed
yeah.
everything, right? And
Yeah.
have lived their lives and have honored the country.
You know, we have what we call a veterans couples plaque up there. And this is a plaque for both the guy and the wife were both in the service. And back in 2013, I walked around counting how many veteran couples plaques we had on the walls. I counted 85 veteran couples plaques. We have over 140 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot of husband and wives who are both in the military.
And so what are you thinking when you go up there? What's your motivation to honor people, to serve your country? What really gets you up in the morning, gets you up there?
Well, the fact that I'm going up to hang around and take care of the walls of our nation's heroes, that's what motivates me. There's so many stories up there, but this is who we owe our freedom to, all of these veterans on those walls up there. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and it's so important that they call you the greatest generation, right? That
The World War II guys were the greatest generation.
In
No
passing
question.
down the torch and the wisdom. I think a lot of people, especially seniors, they think that they don't have anything to offer the kids now. And someone like you who engages and can teach and tell the stories and inspire them, maybe it's so important.
Yeah, I like when they have upcoming chief petty officers, guys getting ready to make chief. I had a group from the aircraft carrier Teddy Roosevelt. They wanted to bring their potential chiefs up and get together with me, and I give them a briefing and try to pump them up a little bit and make them aware of what a great Navy we have, and they're getting ready to enter the greatest brotherhood of the world, Navy chief petty officers. And these are just some of the things that I enjoy doing.
What's your advice to a young person out there who says like, hey, I think I'm going to join the Navy or Marines or armed forces? What advice would you give them?
I would say whatever your heart tells you to do, buddy, do it. But whatever you do, just do the best job you can.
And serve with honor.
Serve with honor.
Integrity.
Pride, integrity, professionalism. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. That's awesome stuff. So, man, I really appreciate you joining me, and I was hoping to get your story out there and what you're doing, and draw attention to what you're doing, all the hard work you put in. But no, really, just as a person, I see your excitement and that sparkle in your eye. You get really excited about life and serving people and doing things, and I think a lot of people, they just kind of give up. I see a lot of people a lot younger than you who say, I'm 70 now, I don't have anything to offer.
Well, when I have the occasion to engage in conversation with some of the beautiful ladies of the world, and I bring them down and show them my plaque and my son's plaques, and I tell them stories, and by the time I finish, all they say is, gosh, can I give you a hug bottom gun? I say, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you don't fight them off, huh?
I don't fight them off.
Must be tough. You military guys, I know how it is.
And then when I tell them I'm 85, that really floors them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm your doc, and I don't believe I look at you and I go, let me make sure I got this right. Because you're energetic. You jump up on the table, you're doing your thing, and you got stuff to do.
You've been taking care of me for the whole time I've been in San Diego. You know that.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep you. We got to keep you grounded here. We have a lot of stuff for you to take care of. So in the last couple of minutes we have, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got a busy social calendar, but what would you say is life's best medicine? Like, what do you say? Hey, I'm on my deathbed here, guys. Here's what matters in life. Here's something I learned that I want to pass on to my kids or grandkids or great grandkids.
Gosh, like I say, I just wake up every day and say, well, this is the first day of the rest of my life. What can I do today that's going to be exciting? Who can I engage in conversation today that I'm going to enjoy talking to? And just enjoy this beautiful world that we live in. That's all you can do. Don't ever say this is the end of it. Keep going. Never look back. Always look forward.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And I think, Bob, the other thing I see is so many people have lost hope. Like they look around, they say they think everyone's bad, that we're all gonna get sick and have problems. And what would you tell someone right now who kind of lost hope or thinks that things are never gonna get better?
Gosh, I would just say, hey, forge ahead. Forget anything bad that might have happened in your past. Look ahead to a glorious future and attack it, attack it, attack it. Go forward, go forward.
Do all you can do and
That's
make
all
the
you
best
can
of it and keep a smile on your face. And
That's all they can do. Yeah.
that's what you can do. Well, happy 85th, man.
Well, you're
Happy
going to keep me
85th.
going for a few more, I hope.
Yeah, I know the big night. I'm looking forward to the 90th party. It's going to be a good one, I bet. With all your military buddies and all that crazy stuff.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the experience of this Zoom meeting. I've never done it before, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Even with me, it can be fun, But no, thanks so much, Bob, for taking the time to join me. I mean, I kind of twisted your arm and said, hey, I want to have this guy here because I want people to hear what I hear, like these great people that I deal with all the time. And people ask me if I get burned out. I'm like, not dealing with people like Bob, I'm not going to burn out. It's like you lose all your money gambling and then you hear the bells go off one time and you go, okay, now it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
It gives you that the good people like you just keep me going, and it's an honor to be your doc and to be part of your healthcare. But really, you're doing all the work and you're taking care of yourself. And if everyone was like you, and this is one of the reasons I started Life's Best Medicine, is to say, look, it's not just about what you're eating, it's about living your life and being positive and joyful and all that stuff. Because, if you don't have a reason to get out of bed, sooner or later, you just don't get out of bed.
Exactly.
And so I wanted people to know it's not just about how many drugs we can throw at you and how, what you're eating, if you're eating too many cookies or not, those kind of, by the way, we'll talk about that down the road.
Yeah.
Bob's like, I'm not changing, man. I'm going to enjoy my life, doc. Thanks for your
I
advice
jump out
and all
of that bed 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning, doctor. Every morning.
I know, man. You're up and
at him.
Up and at him and doesn't mess around. That's it.
Yeah.
He has his bed made and he's out there ready to go and tidy.
Yep.
So thank you so much for joining me. And everyone, think about this. Let Bob's life and his story kind of inspire you a little bit. It's not too late. It's not, you're not too old. You're not too young to get on track, or you're not just too far gone. I think, just get something that motivates you. And you could be 85, getting up early, cleaning stuff and just talking to people and meeting great people that we have. And that's that probably keeps Bob going too, is that just being around positive, good people, meeting people, new people, learning from them. Some of these people, their stories. I mean, that's what I love about this podcast, is just sharing the stories. And then, some people will be inspired and it's life-changing for a lot of people. So,
well, if you ever wanted to put me in front of anybody to inspire them a little bit, I'd be glad to do it for you. You know that.
All right, buddy, let's do it. Let's do it. So, and everyone else out there, hey, thanks for your support. Thanks for listening. And be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and take some of Bob's wisdom along with you. It's all good stuff. Bottom gun.
I appreciate it, Doc.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We greatly appreciate your support. We would greatly appreciate a positive thumbs up on all of the platforms like iTunes and Spotify or wherever you're listening. And we just thank you for our Patreon supporters. We greatly appreciate your help in getting this message out. We think there's a lot of important information. And hopefully this helps you. Have a great day. And thank you for listening. And thank you for your support.